Hey, good Monday morning, my friends. I'm live Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa here. And I guess, do we still call it early March? Yeah, we do. March 11th, early March standards. Pretty good looking week. Today 50s, tomorrow 60s, Wednesday 60s. Thursday, we get the temperature contrast from south to north. So if you're in the far south on Thursday, still very spring-like. Far north, you're thinking like, okay, wintry. And we will eventually see, looks like about a 2-week cool down, because remember, the sun is gaining power. So by the time we get to next week at this time, we're going to have some colder air coming in, and that will probably halt our warm up and keep us with temperatures in the 30s and 40s. It appears as though into the first week of April or so. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's get into it here. It's Monday, and so we'll try to do the best we can. And here we go. It is a beautiful day, of course, with most areas reporting a lot of sunshine. I guess northern Michigan and across the UP, you might have some high clouds, but otherwise should be quite nice for you. There you go. And a couple of sunny days on the way. All right, so what's going to happen this week? We start off with the Mondays, right? Let's see. Let's take a look. This is our European model that we like as just a general look at what's going on. You're getting the initialization here, the starting frame, so you can kind of pick out where you're at. You can kind of see the states and cooler air that we're in right now, but shifting off and warmer air off to the west. And as we go through it, by afternoon, we get into a west-southwest wind, warmer temperatures. And then we go to tomorrow, it's a sunny day. We go to Wednesday, should be a fairly sunny day. We go to when is our next batch of precipitation? That's Thursday afternoon, where we could start to have some batches of showers in. And more likely, it looks like Thursday night, Friday, a storm system kind of scoots across the southern border. And then notice the curl of the storm system up to the north, and notice by next Sunday and Monday, colder air coming down and becoming a little bit larger than what we've seen. Not to say that it's going to last a long time. Tammy Colbert, do you see any more snowstorms for March? I would not write it off. It would be a day of road condition, and then it would melt off the roads the next day. So I wouldn't write it off, and if it were to happen, I would say it would be, somewhere between March 22nd and April 1st. So here's the same model giving you kind of an easier look, rain versus snow. And we don't have anything to deal with until we get to probably Thursday afternoon. So this is Thursday afternoon, and it would be rain. And by Friday afternoon, maybe a little bit of snow, northern sections. But note the storm coming from the north. Not a big type thing, but just a reinforcing, I guess we'd call it cold shot of air for that time of the year. If you went 5-10 degrees colder than normal, which would mean highs in the 30s to near 40 when you want to have highs heading toward 50. So this is out next week, Wednesday, March 20th. And somebody asked about a snowstorm. Is that something shaping up? Well, that's 10 days out and a little bit hard to say for sure. In the short term, beautiful for early March, in the 50s today, when we should be, low 40s south, mid 30s north. Tanya, I don't know if we should use the word always in weather, but often we do have a snowstorm around the beginning of April. This is tomorrow, 60s tomorrow, and then Wednesday, the southern half of the state, the pick day probably, is the warmth is settled in. Hey, good morning, Dale Schweitzer. Hopefully you're doing well. Then here's Thursday, the storm develops, and we get that contrast from warm for this time of the year in the south to turning colder in the north. And then Friday, we turn colder, and Saturday, we bounce back to 50. And Sunday, not bad. Late into the weekend and early next week, we may start to see the colder temperatures come in, where we could have, 5 to 10 days of highs in the 30s and 40s. Now, out into the long term shows you the strength of maybe the cool patch coming. So we're looking at the surface temperature anomaly, and we're going to look out 16 days. We're looking at the more stable ensemble mode of the European. This is what we have tomorrow. We have much warmer than normal temperatures by 20 degrees or so. Probably not record high temperatures, but very, very spring-like. Very nice, very concerning for the fruit growers. Now we're into Saturday, we're into Sunday, and then here comes, what I'm calling a cool patch. You probably call it cold. This is next Tuesday, and what would that signify? That would signify high temperatures about 10 degrees colder than normal. So March 20th, your average high probably mid-40s, southern half of the state, 10 degrees colder than normal. You're talking, hey, good morning, Mike Castellucci. You're probably talking highs in the 30s. And then we go to the Wednesday the 20th, still cooler than normal. Look what's building up in Canada. We go to Friday the 22nd, about normal. That's near 50 at that point. Then we go to March 24th and March 25th and March 26th, as far out as we get to go. And it shows the cool pocket up to the north. And so I guess what I would say is, get out there and enjoy the spring weather. It appears as though what I would say is about next Monday, which is the 18th, I would say through about April 5th, you better plan on some cooler than normal weather. And if we could still get a snow, definitely. Nothing that's a sure sign, but we could definitely get it. And prior to that, remember that 60s tomorrow and Wednesday are quite abnormal, 20 degrees warmer than normal, and get out and enjoy it. Hey, thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Bearer of good news in the short term, and bad news for the average person ready for spring. Possibly a Michigan fruit growing saving cool snap if it can come in before the fruit trees get too advanced and halt the advancement of the fruit trees. So this might be just what the fruit growers need coming up. And I know a lot of you, if you don't worry about fruit, you don't care about that. But just think about it. Just think about if somebody said, hey, you're an accountant, fairly stable profession, I would imagine. We got something happening here that might cut your annual salary by 70% this year. We'll let you know. Might happen in a few weeks. That's what the farmers go through every year. Usually works out for them, and that's why they're successful farmers. But once in a while, Mother Nature says, no, you're not going to have a good year at all. All right, I'll stop my rant and go enjoy the sunshine. I will too. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Bye.